Hi, welcome to Nona's Here. I'm Nona. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you all decided to join me today because it is Sunday Fun Day. I'm joining DIYS with Yanni and Diane and their co-host Trish and Kay from Crafting Cousins. I'll be sure and add their channel links down below, along with all the playlists from everyone who's joining in today. It's a fun day because you get to do whatever we want to. And I have some pretty fun projects lined up to share with you today. So be sure and check out that playlist along with Yanni and Diane from DIYS and Trish and Kay from Crafting Cousins. In the meantime, have you checked that subscribe button yet? If you haven't, you need to do so. And don't forget to click on that bell and click on all so you don't miss any of the fun here at Nona's Here. Also, I wish you would do a comment and share so I know that you're out there. I'd appreciate it. All right, enough chatting. Let me get on my crafting clothes, get over to my crafting table, and let's have some fun. Pumpkin DIY number 1. Alrighty, so we're ready for DIY number 1 with the pumpkins. I have everything from Dollar Tree except for my chalk paint. So I'm going to paint the back of it, and I have my sage blossom, my pumpkin, and my cashew chalk paint from Waverly. I also have my maize that I'm going to be using. That's that beautiful yellow. I have some small pumpkins there that I'm going to be using for this DIY. I have some wooden letters that I'm going to be using, and of course my paint brushes and my glue gun and my Gorilla wood glue. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off the string there and take off the little green leaf, and I'm going to paint the back of the pumpkin with the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint. And as soon as I get that all painted, I do give almost everything 2 coats in all of my DIY, so I get a real nice covering. I'm going to take the pretty maize yellow chalk paint, and I'm going to paint all of those letters. And again, I give it 2 coats to make sure I get it well covered on all the sides. So as soon as I do that, I'm going to set those letters aside, let them dry, give them a second coat, and then I'm going to take the maize and I'm going to take and give the pumpkin some dry brushing in the maize to give it some real definition and some of those curves for the pumpkin to really give the pumpkin some definition and outline. So when I get that done, I don't think I show you this, but you can see some brown acrylic paint back there, and I paint the stem. Now I have the picture I'm going to use of my beautiful little granddaughter. I've cut it out in a pumpkin shape, and now I'm putting the Gorilla wood glue in the back, and I'm going to glue that in the middle of the pumpkin. As I said, it's cut out like in a pumpkin shape. Now I'm taking those yellow maize letters that I have painted, and I'm gluing those on. And I've taken those little pumpkins and cut them in half so they glue on flat. And I'm gluing those on. See, I'm showing you how I cut them in half so they glued on flat. And glued one on either side. And there is my pumpkin princes. That's the end of DIY number 1. DIY number 2. All right, so we're ready for DIY number 2. I'm using one of these pumpkins from Dollar Tree with the pretty silver leaf on it. I am going to use this page out of one of the calendars of pumpkins. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the silver leaf. I'm going to put it away because I am going to use it on this DIY later. I am going to cut off the string, and then I'm going to lay the pumpkin page, calendar page, over the top of the pumpkin. Using my fingers, I'm going to outline the pumpkin page so I can cut it out to fit onto the pumpkin sign. So I'm carefully going to cut it out, and then I am going to use my multi-purpose spray glue. Mod Podge and I do not get along, and the spray glue and I work together much easier. So what I do is I spray it, and then I lay the paper down starting on one side. And what I like about this spray glue is you can pick up your paper and adjust it and readjust it until you get it right where you want it. Now what I'm using there is a chopper from the kitchen section of the Dollar Tree, and it works really nicely as long as you don't press too hard, because you will tear the paper. Now I'm doing the other side, and I am going to again use my chopper to smooth out the paper gently from the center out, and I get almost all the wrinkles out. And as crafters, sometimes we just won't leave things alone, but I put it aside after I got most of the wrinkles out, and surprisingly enough, after I let it dry thoroughly, when I got all done, the wrinkles were almost all gone. I did paint the stem with my acrylic brown paint, and now you can't see what I'm doing, but I am taking that silver leaf and putting it at the top, and I've used some real pretty silver ribbon to tie a small bow at the top, and that finished off this DIY. The reason why I use the silver ribbon is because the bottom of the calendar picture is silver, and I wanted to carry the silver up to the top of the calendar picture with the silver ribbon and the silver leaf. You'll see it in the final reveal. DIY number 3. Okay, moving right along to pumpkin DIY number 3. So I'm going to use that pumpkin, some leaves, the truffle Waverly, chalk paint, and some metal words that say Happy Fall. So I'm painting the front of the pumpkin with my truffle chalk paint, and I'm going to use some Home Depot chalk paint that I got at Hobby Lobby 100 years ago that's in Parisian gray. I put the little green leaf, I just spun it around to the back. I am going to use it, so I just put it to the back. There I put my twine holder on, and now I'm hot gluing leaves around. I had only put one layer of leaves on, and then I decided that was a little bare, so I went back and did a second layer of leaves on the pumpkin. You can see where I've dry brushed with that Parisian gray on the pumpkin to give it a little bit of dimension. So now I'm just hot gluing those leaves on top of each other, and now I'm going to take, oh, that does not say Happy Fall, that says Thankful. Okay, then I took some ribbons and I made what they call a messy bow. Oh, see what I did there? I tried to use hot glue to put down the word thankful. That does not work. So I had to get out my Fix-All from Dollar Tree. It's like super glue. That works great to put these metal words down. So I got that out, and that worked just fine. Okay, this is a messy bow, where you just take ribbons and put them crisscrossed around, across each other. Then I took a piece of twine and tied it real tightly around the middle, and then fluffed out the ribbon pieces to make it fluffy. And then I had a piece of lace ribbon that I used in the bow, and I took that around the center to cover the twine. Then I hot glued the ribbon down. You can see I used some heavy jars on top of the thankful metal word in order to make it hold down. That worked just fine. And now I'm hot gluing my messy bow down. And there we go. It is all done with 2 layers of leaves, the thankful metal word, and my messy bow. DIY number 4. All right, for our next pumpkin DIY, I'm going to use this pumpkin. I'm going to use my sanding sponge to take off the glitter like I do on all the pumpkins. I have some spackling there to fill in the holes of the little pumpkins. I'm going to use the vintage teal chalk paint and the Home Decor Parisian Gray chalk paint. I have my Gorilla wood glue. I have some little pumpkins there that I'm going to use. I'm going to take off the silver leaf because I'm going to use it. And the first thing I'm going to do is paint the pumpkin with the vintage teal chalk paint. I told you I give everything 2 good coats for good coverage, and I'm sure to get the edges. And I'll let that dry real well. And then I will take that Home Decor Parisian Gray and paint those little pumpkins. I will take the spackling and fill in the little holes of the little 3D pumpkins that I got at Walmart. Those have really come in handy. I was lucky. That package was just laying there without anything else, and it was really meant to do a banner. And I just picked it up, and there were, I don't know, 7 or 8 little pumpkins in there. Okay, so there I am with the Parisian Gray. I'm going to paint those little pumpkins. And as soon as I get that done, I'm going to stick them in some styrofoam to dry. Now I'm going to paint the outer pumpkins of the 3D one with the silver Parisian Gray. Then I'll paint the inner one with the teal. Now I've laid out everything and I'm ready to put the pumpkin all together. I have the silver leaf at the top, the home in the middle, and I'm using that Fix-All adhesive from Dollar Tree because that's what makes the silver stick. Don't try using hot glue, it doesn't work. Then I'm going to use my Gorilla wood glue to put on the 3D pumpkin, and then I will put on the little silver leaf with my hot glue. Then I am going to put on those little pumpkins to cover up the holes in the home silver word because that's really meant to hang and I don't want those holes to show. Now I'm going to use that beautiful silver ribbon that I have. I'm going to make a hanger, stick it through the original holes in the pumpkin, make a hanger. I'll tie the ribbon in the back so you don't see it. Make a pretty hanger, and that will be it. DIY number 5. And we are on to DIY number 5. Okay, I'm going to use this pumpkin, cut off the string. I'm using 2 of those 3D pumpkins. I'm going to use some of those foam letters that I got at Dollar Tree. Going to use my sanding sponge to get off the glitter. I'm going to take my spackling and spackle up those holes. I'm going to paint one of the 3D pumpkins on the outside with the maize and the inside with the green, and then one with the green on the inside. And there I've taken the opposite colors and done some dry brushing. Then I found this real pretty leaf in my stash, so I decided I'm going to use it, and I've painted it with the yellow and the green pastel autumn colors. Now I'm ready to put my pumpkin together, and so I am using my Gorilla Wood glue on everything to put it together. And I'm using a paintbrush. I found that works really well to get the Gorilla Glue all to the outside. Put it together. And I had a pretty yellow golden satin ribbon to use for the hanger. And for our final pumpkin DIY, number 6. And if you stuck with me this long, bless your heart. All right, we're ready for the last one. I'm going to use this pumpkin. See those 2 big pumpkins? Forget it, I'm not using those, but I am using that football. It came on a banner of pumpkins. I used the pumpkins, but I'm going to use the football on this one. I'm going to use those little pumpkins, and I'm going to paint those little pumpkins orange with some yellow maize paint to dry brush them. I am using my Waverly Fern chalk paint to paint the pumpkin itself. There I'm painting the little orange pumpkins. And I got this at Dollar Tree, 2 for 1. You get the picture frame plus this cute little sign that says Happy Fall, and it has the blocks on the back, so it's 3D. Hot glued that down. Took my little pumpkins that I painted, hot glued those on. Used the green leaf that came on the pumpkin. I highlighted it and dry brushed it. Then I have this beautiful ribbon, and I'm going to use that to hang it. What I didn't tape is I put some black stick-on letters that said football and pumpkins pleased, and of course I Mod Podged over those. You'll see it in the final reveal. So now we're ready for the final reveal. First up is Pumpkin Princess. There she is, all smiles in her pretty yellow dress. Next up is the calendar pumpkin picture with the silver bow and silver leaf at the top. The third one is the silver thankful word with the leaves and the messy bow at the top, done in brown and gold. The next one is the teal pumpkin with the silver leaf at the top and the beautiful silver ribbon hanging. Next we have the autumn pastel shades of Happy Fall with the leaf and the golden ribbon hanger. And then we have the football and pumpkin please in the fern, chalk paint, and the Happy Fall leaf. So won't you comment below and tell me which is your favorite? Which one do you like the best? Also, you know I would love it if you would like and share my video. It helps my channel grow. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you again on Known as Here.